Welcome back to The Watch. And Nathan, are bots getting out of hand?
I feel like they're learning.
They're evolving, yes. They are utilizing more technology. And this, there was a tweet that kicked off my thoughts on this, which shows the evolution of bot farms. And so we're going to show the evolution and then discuss how we think it's affecting the internet, the world, because it's a bit crazy. It's like artificial people, okay? And it can affect so many things. All right, so here is an image, right? This is kind of where bot farms began, all by hand. It's a little time-consuming.
Manual labor, basically.
Manual labor, but people willing to do it, all right? And already when I see that, I'm thinking, wow, that's awful. That's already gone too far, because how many phones do you reckon are there? Maybe 100 to 150, maybe?
Yeah, a couple, yeah.
It's just a number. There's a few of them, right? All right, so that's where it started, okay? Then it evolved to this. Look at all this. So it grabs all the phones and kind of networks them together onto a computer. And so instead of manually
You've got it on each one, now you've got it on a single screen.
Okay.
Yep.
But it takes up a bit of room, doesn't it? Like look at all those phones.
You need space for that, yes.
A lot of space. We humans are innovative creatures.
We are.
If there's a will, there's a way. Unfortunately, there's a will for this. Okay. So, so he says, second generation. So this is by Douglas Munn. Second generation click farm fraud. Multiple mobile devices with a centralized operator. Okay. Third generation click farm fraud involves mobile device servers centralized and operated by one. Mobile device. So if you have a look closely, you see these things. These are, instead of having the mobile phones like on a thing, they're stacked like dominoes next to each other in these kind of hubs, okay? Then networked together on servers, on multiple servers by the look of it. Now, the amount of phones here, if you have a look at like this line here, that looks to be maybe 20, 30. And then that's just, and it looks like they have 2 rows on each. So which is 40 to 50 each. So if we go 50, there's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. We are up to over 1,000 phones just in one of these racks. 1,000. But guess what, Nathan?
It gets worse?
This is not the end of the evolution. It's so still evolving. This is like seeing a Pokemon get worse and worse. It's just like, what's going on? These are each like a phone, CPU thing. And they're in a chassis. And they're all hubbed and networked together. And so it shows how they do it. They grab it out, connect them. They even do some MacGyving to hook them all in. Okay. And so they have all this, right? And then this enables them to hook it up, gets running, and then, look, these are all virtual phones. And then they can run scripts to get them run like automatically, all send watches to a single video, upvote single video, live viewers, posting tweets, response tweets. I want you to say this person sucks or something like that. And that's just one of those units. Like, look at this. These are the server cases sold from, so they even sell server cases for this, right? And people can set up these bot farms to have thousands upon thousands. And, I mean, they don't need a fancy mobile phone to do this. In fact, they're ripping them up and taking out the things. And there are so many secondhand phones that people can get a hold of. Oh, and just, I'm sure, like, these bot farms probably have deals with, like, repair places, which people just trade in their old ones and throw them out, and they're like, yeah, I'll pay $2 or $5 or whatever for these old phones. And they end up making these bot farms with literally thousands and thousands of them. And I wonder, because not only do you have these issues, right? I wonder how many accounts they could have these phones switch in and out from.
True. Because if you have multiple accounts on a single phone.
On a single phone. Okay, so if you have already we can see that just with this setup here, they can get numbers in the thousands. With the more advanced setup where they have the integrated, instead of having the phone sit in them, just having this, how many thousands? 20,000?
The numbers are going to get substantially more and more
40,000?
bigger. Like we're multiplying them each generation, and then if you think of software stuff, like you're saying, having multiple accounts on the smartphone, like that doubles it basically.
Like one of these things is 1,000 phones. We could extrapolate just by looking at the numbers there, right? And then and then it looks like they have 1, 2, 3. So that's like 3,000 to 4,000 phones. But if you do the GPU integration one, let's say even 10,000. There's a bot farm with 10,000. And then if they can have multiple accounts on each phone, 10 accounts, 100,000 bots.
That's a lot.
That is insane. That is insane, right? And so here's the thing. Bots are already flooded on the internet. Like the first responses, first comments to every single video I upload on Shadiversity is this thumbnail of an ass, some girl's ass, saying, "This video really inspired me, how great," or something like that.
Yeah.
A generic comment about the video, and it's bait. So it's like people see an attractive butt, they click on it, and then they'll go to the YouTube page or whatever, and then there'll be something like nudes in somewhere. Right? Porn is the main issue. Like, get off porn and it solves the problem, but no, there'll still be bots anywhere. They'll be just trying to sell other stuff.
Well, that's the thing, because I think as well, obviously, this is more about the sheer amount of bots that are out in the world. I think the scary part too now is the development of other systems, like particularly AI and, even just algorithms in general, and how to... Because I feel like a lot of these people, Google and those bigger services have been trying to combat them and fight them. And an easy way to do that is, for example, IP tracking. You've got 1,000 devices going from one IP place. You can kind of think as a, big corporation, that's probably a bot farm. But then you've got clever ways to get around that with, VPNs and other things like that. And, like, of course, there's the scary thing of porn, but there's also the things like elections, just hacking in general, like black market stuff, scams.
Advertising rates. Like advertisers try and set their rates based on the amount of eyeballs certain platforms have, certain amount of users on them. Half the users on these platforms could be just
bots.
Fake. And what's crazy about the YouTube bots, right, that always post those comments, whenever I see them, I ban them from the channel.
They always come back.
They must either delete the profile and just make a new one every day or week or something like that and just keep rolling. It's insane. It's like you can't stop them. And there was an issue for ages on YouTube where there was a scam that it would be they would grab your icon as a user and then say Shadiversity on Instagram, and they would have comments like, "You won prize, click on this and you'll get like a PlayStation 3 or something like that." That was around for ages. And you tell your users, but people don't see it all, and you can't tell on every single one, like, hey, beware of internet, right? But that was around for ages. It's gone now. It took ages for YouTube to do something about it, but now we've got these new ones. They're always like the first comments. These ones seem pretty obvious, yet they're still around. So they must be hooking in some people, some real, unfortunately, thirsty guys that just see...
Yeah, well, I guess when you have such a mass amount of bots going across entire parts of the internet, they're obviously baiting some people.
Yeah.
But even then, it's like... Maybe there's things we don't know that they're doing with these accounts that are more... I don't know, because when stuff like this happens, I kind of go, well, just no one's going to click on them. Then obviously they wouldn't do it.
Exactly. They must get some people
like this. But then I'm like, well, if we don't want to know what it is, then like it must be something a lot worse that we can't even think of. Like,
And so this is just like one issue. You can reach out to these bot farms and hire bots to pad out and increase your views and stuff, and people have been caught out doing it. One of the big signs of bot views is in live streams where you have like someone, like you look at it and it says 100,000 viewers and the chat is moving about the same pace as if you had 600 and it's like, wow, you're using bots. Yeah. And but more people than you might realize you can notice this happening with. Happened to one of the guys that were working with G4. They were doing a live stream on it, and I forget which part it was in the whole G4 thing, but people that got caught out because a huge viewing figure on live stream and the chat was just crawling.
Yeah, interesting.
Okay. All right, so then we also come to other applications like Twitter, okay? It's a problem.
Yeah.
Like, so many tweets, it's like nudes in bio is a common thing, right? Elon vowed to try and combat the bots, but they're still there. And I wonder if it's because it actually is like half the user base on Twitter X, and the user base is one of the large things that determines the value of the app, the platform, advertising rates, and everything. And so if he was to actually get rid of all bots...
If we slice the user base in half, yeah.
And also... and he should do it anyway, because that would be good, but I could see the dilemma he's in if that actually... I don't know, takes out the value of X Twitter by half when other platforms are using them to pad their numbers and they're not getting... Like, how many users on YouTube are probably bots?
A fair amount.
Crazy amounts. We see signs of them all over. And if they can be used to watch live streams and stuff like that, you don't need an account to do that, but to leave comments and to like, you do need an account, don't you, on YouTube?
Yes.
You do need... And so... if they're offering that as like, yeah, we'll get you not only views, but likes and comments and interactions, and we clearly see bot comments all over the place, these are actual YouTube accounts that are bots. And that could be a very large figure. And then if Elon is the only one who decides to nuke the bots on his platform, there could be outside. He just doesn't know how, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I think as well, these people, it's their jobs basically to trick services into thinking that you're a real person.
Yeah.
And so one of the things I love looking through sometimes is like, how hackers get through mainframe, that's the Hollywood way of saying it. But it's like, if it's your job to trick, Google and Twitter and stuff into thinking you're a real person, sure, they'll ban you, but then that gives you basically ammunition. Okay, next time I'm not going to do that. I've got to add things smart. Like, for example, the I'm not a robot. The way that they track that you're not a robot isn't when you click the button, it's recording before you click it to see how you move.
Oh, really?
And so, yeah.
What, the
mouse movement, because obviously bots just go straight to the thing and click it, but we're human, they like move around or whatever, and so people have made bots which just naturally move around to things, and then it bypasses I'm not a robot, or like the image
I was
things.
wondering how that worked, because it's like, surely a robot can click.
But no, because your movement is like a human, then they know that you're not a robot.
Oh, wow.
And so it's very easy for a programmer to then just program how a cursor works. And so that's the other issue with the bots, so much as not what they can do right now, because obviously we see with Twitter and YouTube you can tell they're bots.
Yeah.
But it's more scary with the future when they keep adapting and evolving and finding ways of getting around it.
I got something to say on the adapting evolving. Before I do that, I'll finish off the thought I had, is that if Elon nukes all the bots on Twitter X, right, and all the other platforms don't, he's shooting himself in the foot then in terms of the competition of user base and how viable the platform is. And so it's a really difficult position he's in. Now, going back to what you were saying about the evolution of this stuff, one of the ways that they detected if it was a human or not was detect how many traffic lights, which images have a traffic light. One of the big advancements of generative AI is its ability to pick out items in an image, and it can do it really well now. And if you like you can go into, there's large language models and everything like that, and it can say, describe this picture to me, and they'll describe it. It's a picture of this with this in it, and this in it, and that is the AI breaking apart the image and then understanding, oh, that's what a traffic light looks like. So it's going to be able to just destroy those checks.
Yes.
It feels like one of the only viable ways to actually combat bots, and people aren't going to like this, is with monetary subscription.
That or proof of identity.
See, to me, money subscription is better than proof of identity, because people need anonymity online. They need privacy.
They do, but I also feel like that's one of the reasons why Elon has kind of pushed for that on Twitter, because it's a lot harder for bots to get a passport than it is for a regular human being.
Yeah, it is. But when you say have a monetary subscription, it's like $1. I can afford $1, all right? A bot farm that has 100,000 accounts. It's like, suddenly for them, it's $100,000.
Yes.
And it's untenable for them to try and do that. unless it's so profitable that they can just
Unless
top
people are
it.
paying them, because they can just also add that onto the, the customer that's paying for the bots.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's where it gets a bit tricky, because either or, you can get you can get fake passports, you can find money obviously in other ways, and so either way, like, bots are kind of here to stay. They're slowly evolving.
They're getting worse.
Then they're getting
And the solutions aren't great. It's either money or identity, and then what?
I mean, the only other ways I can really think of getting rid of bot farms is basically SWAT teams trying to find the place where the bot farms are.
Like, strike them down!
Like, that's the only way, though.
But they're in countries where we don't have jurisdiction. Why do you think they all come from China? And what's scary about this, the world is becoming more virtual. We're living in a more and more virtual reality. And as a result, these bot farms are literally having such a negative effect where if it comes to like voting an election or just like likes, what looks to be visible support for one thing versus another, and you have an insane amount of bots pushing or swaying things one way or the other, it's like, holy crap. Because it's already been suspected that a lot of the extreme woke side of people use bots to like either downvote or dogpile. I haven't, like, there's been that accusation. And the thing that seems to add legitimacy to the claim is the fact that so many of the replies sound like they're from, bots.
The exact same.
But having said that, so many of these insane woke people act like NPCs anyway, so what can you do to tell? And they do actually dogpile. So, because, like, I had one of my tweets go viral, several actually. My name, Shad, became trending because it was the whole AI backlash stuff. And I doubt that was just bot backlash. I think that was just, people who are way too unhinged and too terminally online. But it was like in the thousands upon thousands, hundreds of thousands, right? Doing the dogpiling. And so I don't think that was all bots. Who am I to know that? But why would bots be against AI? It's like,
People paid them to be like that. That's the thing. The scariest thing, I think, with all this bot stuff, it's like, I look at this and I go, the tech's kind of cool. The fact that people can hook this stuff up. Like, as a nerd, I look at this and go, that's kind of cool to be the guy in the chair and controlling computers and whatever. What's scary is that the people who are going to use these tools for malicious intent, like, it's not a good thing to have these tools so widely available to people, because I can't see much good from them.
No, yeah, like it's all bad. It's all. I think it's just all the more you're faking the existence of a person to artificially affect things, whether it's in views or likes, which seem it's harmless. Like, no, that means content isn't succeeding on the merit of its content, right? And then it can have even far more nefarious uses where you have bot like baiting so heaps of scammers use bots, and then of course you have the nefarious actors who will pay it to inflate their own stuff, and then you have the things that affect possible voting, and that affects the course of nations. It's insane. Like, what? That's why voting needs to be analog. Like, get off digital. Like, I think even ballots should be thrown. No ballots or anything. Voting has to be you come in person on the day with a real person. It's the only way to be secure these days, Nathan. It's insane. But even back then, people would game the system.
Yeah.
Yeah, so in New York City, there was this corrupt organization called Tammany Hall, and they would literally work with the organized crime of the city, the gangs, right? Because Tammany Hall, you can guess which side of the aisle they supported. They supported Democrats. But to inflate and get the people they wanted elected into positions, they would go to the organized crime gangs, and they would go on voting day and actually physically assault people who were voting against it. The police were in their pocket, so the police would stand by and let them. And then they would vote. There would be a line of gang members that would go in and vote, and just go out and vote again, and vote again, up to like casting 10 votes at a time. There was this corrupt politician that ended up winning by like 10 times versus the opposition. So even then, people we have hopefully better safety things to avoid that type of stuff, but people still try and cast multiple votes, and fake it. But at least that is safer than digital crap where you can just, create fake people all wholesale. It's insane. These are some of the bad things of the digital reality we're living in.
Yeah.
And I think it's just going to get worse.
It will. It will. Well, because there's obviously a need and want for it. So people who have, like you said before, when there's a will, there's a way.
I really like your solution. We should just have like a black ops, no borders. Like if you get caught, the country will disown you and say you had no affiliation in it. They just go in, just blow apart these friggin' bot farms. That's the solution.
I mean, I didn't call for so much that violent, but...
I mean, if they're doing that, they should just use drone strikes.
Don't kill people, but you could,
We're killing bots!
There's people inside running the bots.
That's crime-worthy intent. If anyone is in that building, that's the guilty, right? Oh, no, they'll probably use slaves. There's enough human trafficking that they'll... Because, this first image, right? I'll go back. One of the concerning things is that girl there who's doing all the manual labor. Is she there entirely by her own free will?
Does she enjoy what she's doing? Probably not.
Probably not. Have you seen the influencer farms that are in Asia? Oh, it's horrific. So you have these, attractive young, Asian girls, and they just got a phone in front of them, and they're doing the thing, right? And there's literally just cubicles of just what life do these girls live? It's horrifying. Holy crap, the world can be a horrifying place. We're so insulated in I'm not saying there's bad things in the West, but in the let's call it the privileged West. Okay, this isn't privilege by skin color. This is there is privilege in the world, and if you're living in medium class, you're very lucky in the world, and we probably definitely live in bubbles. Anyway, this is slightly depressing, but this is the reality of the digital age. And as we said, I'm not sure it's going to get better unless we do the Black Ops thing. What do you guys think? Let us know. And as always, stay on watch.